This might come as a surprise to most of you, but just because your relationship doesn't have any arguments or outright toxic behaviors and it is fairly calm, it doesn't mean that it's healthy. This is something that I've learned recently, so I'm gonna unpack it with you now. I recently got out of a 3-year-long relationship, and that relationship seemed quite healthy on the outside, I would say. It didn't feel like it was toxic or abusive, none of that stuff. And yet, it wasn't healthy. And if you're interested in story time on that, I have it posted on YouTube and also on my TikTok, so make sure to check that out. And this taught me something really, really important that I want to share with you now, and that is relationships can't really work if they don't have difficult conversations. Let me explain. You can't build a connection on nothing. And especially when you two meet, you are practically strangers. I mean, you have different set of values, different, perspectives, jobs, careers, things going on in your life. So you both are completely different. And the challenge really starts when you have to navigate those differences, because they can be quite big. They can only be navigated and done properly if you guys can communicate. And if you can't, you'll try to ignore certain things, and that will drain you faster than you can even imagine. And I'm not saying that those differences have to be insanely massive, because sometimes they will be very tiny, sometimes will be very minor, but they still need navigating, and they still can get on your nerves, and they can still pose as a challenge sometimes. It's human and it's normal. It's, again, two strangers connecting and making a relationship. Of course, things like this happen. And like I said, at this point, most people would just acknowledge it to themselves, but try to firm it and just ignore it and go with it. But that is a very unhealthy thing to do, because your partner and you deserve to know that something is up. You guys deserve to have this healthy communication going on, explain to each other that there's a certain thing that you might not like, and let's say this might be very minor. Again, it can be, but it's not something that should be ignored for long periods of time, because then it piles up and it starts building resentment. This is exactly what happened in my recent relationship, because we ignored our issues, we didn't address them properly, and that literally made everything so much more difficult. And the breakup itself wasn't great either. And it's not to address it in a we need to talk kind of way, because it's not something that should be stressful. It's not something that should feel heavy and like this big talk that you have to have. It just is a little discussion. It's just healthy communicating. It's like telling your friend something like this, and they never throw a tantrum. They never say, oh my gosh, how could you say that to me? They literally go, oh yeah, I mean, you know what, right, yeah, you're right. Because you two should feel safe enough to have those conversations. You two should feel safe enough to bring up those difficult and uncomfortable things sometimes, because they happen, they will arise. Again, you guys are strangers. You were strangers when you first met, so it is natural that there will be things that will happen down the line that you might not necessarily like, and that is okay, because that's human. I'm not trying to say that this is a negative thing. It's absolutely inevitable. It's expected to happen. But a lot of people quit. A lot of people just try to ignore it. This is what I did as well, because I thought I'm being too much. And my ex-partner, he also did it because he couldn't be asked to deal with it at the time. Both reasons are wrong. Both are toxic. Both are unhealthy. Because relationships are partnerships. Relationships are created. Both people are co-leading with each other. Both people are putting enough effort in. It's not just one person and then another one is just hanging around. It is two people in this. So you can't expect your partner to just read your mind and act on it every single time, but they also can't expect you to do that. You guys need to communicate. And I know in these times especially, I don't know what it is about, our current times, but people genuinely don't know how to communicate. People just prefer to ignore issues at hand, and it's so unhealthy. So many relationships go to waste because of it, because if there was just one talk, one conversation, they would have been fixed most of the time. But people prefer to just jump to another person because maybe that other person will have it what that other person didn't. But it's not about that. And I think it's so difficult nowadays to get your point across and, speak about things openly, especially with partners. I feel like we are very scared of opening up, and that is not how relationships work. You have to be vulnerable with that person, but again, you have to trust them. And I know there's so many people out there that you just can't trust. And listen, as a Miss Independent, I love to go through things alone, okay? I don't like sharing it. I don't like telling people how I feel. I don't like showing emotions and vulnerability especially. But I need to learn that this is a healthy way of being, because my future partner, my future husband, he is not a magician and he can't read my mind. I need to tell him, and it's not a bad thing to share those things. And I know it's difficult nowadays. I know it's difficult to open up, and personally I also feel like I do have trust issues now after my most recent relationship, because if you saw my story time, it just happened so abruptly and so out of nowhere. Now I'm kind of scared that this is going to happen again, but again, this is something that I should be working on. I should heal from it, and this is exactly what I'm doing, one step at a time, of course. And if you are in a similar situation like me, then please know it is okay, and take your time to be with yourself, to commit to yourself first, because the relationship that you build with yourself first will actually determine the relationships that you will have after that with other people, and what you can truly build with other people. Because if you can't show up for yourself, how can you show up for someone else? You have to love yourself first. And I know that so many people say that, and I know as a single person now, like, it can be a bit jarring to hear, but truthfully, if you don't value yourself, wrong people will notice it. Wrong people will be like, oh, she's for me, and no, you are not. Okay, like, you have to value yourself so much that you don't allow mediocre people to come into your life. You have to also communicate with yourself. You have to be open and literally name feelings as they come to you. You know how many times I get stressed about something, but I feel like I shouldn't, like I feel like I should have it all together, and I will ignore it. I will literally pretend like it's not happening. No wonder why I can't share my emotions with people, because I'm hiding them from myself. So yeah, I think it's just so incredibly important to learn how to communicate and be comfortable with sharing those vulnerabilities, but only do it when you feel comfortable. Don't do it when you feel like this is not the person. Just be careful with what you share, because again, you do have to be careful around here nowadays, and in the dating market there's so many people that are just looking to play you. So overall, let's work on our communication and let's work on our emotions, and healthy relationships will happen because they are out there. There are people that are emotionally secure, and you have to be as well in order to build secure attachment, because that's ultimately, I think that's goals. Relationship goals is secure attachment. But anyway, I hope this little rant helped, and also if you can, please let me know how you feel about my videos, because I kind of feel like I've lost touch with my content recently, and I just don't really know how to post anymore, especially YouTube videos. I had such good ideas for it, and now it just feels like I don't anymore. It just feels like I am talking, but then I feel like it lacks substance. So please tell me what you think, and please tell me if there's anything that you think I should improve. That would genuinely mean the world to me. But anyway, I hope that you like this, and of course make sure to check out my podcast, Main Character Frequency, and also make sure to check out my other social medias. Everything is linked down below as always. But other than that, thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.